The United States military operates by far the largest fleet of combat aircraft in the world. But that's not all. This country has repeatedly proven that they control the skies, with air fighters that are equipped with the most advanced technological features, speed that is more than twice the speed of sound, and stealthy features that keep them hidden in plain sight. These air fighters are truly unrivaled. However, there are ranks in their air fleet, and a number of aircraft are equipped with the most mind-blowing features ever. What are the features of these exceptionally advanced aircraft? Can China ever compete with such a formidable force? Join us as we delve into the futuristic features of the new U.S. fighter jet that will shock China. Let's go back in time to the beginning of the United States Air Force, which can be traced to the early 1900s. It all began when the War Department considered a proposal from two inventors in Dayton, Ohio, to provide a flying machine. Many people doubted that Wilbur and Orville Wright had built a working aircraft. The Board of Ordnance and Fortifications looked at their proposal, but had other concerns too. At the time, it was not clear how airships, gliders, and aircraft could be used in war, except for balloons, which had been used since 1794 in the French Revolution and in the American Civil War. The Signal Corps had a balloon section from 1892, which didn't perform well in the war with Spain. In the same year, the Signal Corps had also tried and failed to build an aircraft with Samuel P. Langley, whose test ended in a crash. Still upset about that failure, the War Department rejected the Wright brothers' offer in 1905. Aviation Progress, a patent for the Wrights in 1906, and President Theodore Roosevelt's interest revived the focus on flying machines. Captain Charles Dev Chandler led the new aeronautical division of the Signal Corps in 1907. By 1909, they had ordered a dirigible and an aircraft from the Wrights. Despite early setbacks, the Wright brothers trained young officers to fly. The early years of American aviation were slow, with Congress funding military aviation in 1911. The Navy started its program around the same time. By World War I, the significance of aviation was evident, especially in Europe, where balloons and airplanes played crucial roles. The U.S. aviation efforts were minimal at the start of the war in 1917, but an enthusiastic response led to a poorly managed buildup. Eventually, the War Department restructured the aviation sector under new leadership. Although most U.S. aircraft in Europe were European-made, the Air Service distinguished itself in action. After the First World War, there was a push to create an independent Air Force, inspired by Britain's RAF. The Air Service became the Air Corps in 1926. Theories of strategic bombing gained traction, and by the 1930s, precision bombing of industrial targets became a focus. The creation of a combat air force in 1935 marked significant progress, although it remained small compared to European air forces. However, the Second World War was pivotal for American air power. By 1941, the Army Air Forces gained autonomy and played a central role in strategic planning. The AAF expanded rapidly, becoming the world's most powerful air force by 1944. Strategic bombing in Europe and the Pacific proved effective, and the AAF's role in dropping atomic bombs demonstrated future air power potential. Post-war, the success of the AAF fueled debates on armed forces unification and national strategy. After World War II, the Air Force became independent in 1947 under the National Security Act. This created the Department of the Air Force and established a Secretary of Defense with limited control over the services. Post-war budgets slowed the Air Force's rebuilding, despite the Soviet threat. The Air Force prioritized long-range atomic bombing capabilities. The Korean War spurred budget increases and expanded tactical forces. In 1946, the Air Force established Strategic Air Command, Tactical Air Command, and Air Defense Command. SAC became central to Air Force planning, especially under Curtis E. LeMay's leadership. The Berlin Airlift was the Air Force's first major Cold War intervention. The 1950s saw the Air Force's missile and space programs develop, including ballistic missiles and intelligence satellites. During the Vietnam War, the Air Force supported South Vietnamese forces and conducted bombing campaigns in North Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. Post-war, the Air Force focused on upgrading strategic deterrence and maintaining readiness in Europe, despite budget constraints. The 1972 Arms Limitation Agreement with the Soviet Union emphasized mutually assured destruction, impacting the ADC. The Air Force's combat readiness improved in the 1970s and 1980s, with operations in Grenada, Libya, and Panama. The 1980s also saw arms control negotiations with the Soviet Union. Advanced technologies like the B-2 bomber and F-117 fighter bomber emerged in the 1900s. Recruiting skilled personnel and integrating women and minorities became priorities. The Cold War's end led to a strategic shift, with reduced nuclear forces and increased involvement in regional conflicts. The Persian Gulf War showcased the Air Force's capabilities. The post-Cold War drawdown reduced budgets and personnel, but interventions in Bosnia and other areas demonstrated the Air Force's effectiveness. By the late 1990s, the Air Force faced challenges in meeting global commitments with declining resources. However, these challenges only helped to transform the United States Air Force into the unrivaled success that it is today. And now we'll explore the design and capabilities of its most advanced fighters. Let's begin with one of the most promising programs in the history of the U.S. Air Force, the Next Generation Air Dominance Project. This program aims to deliver around 200 advanced sixth-generation fighters, each costing several $100 million. The Secretary of the Air Force, Frank Kendall, mentioned this price. The program started in 2014, and in 2015, DARPA began the Aerospace Innovation Initiative to develop X-plane prototypes to showcase potential technologies for future fighters. The NGAD platform is more than just making a new fighter jet. It's about a complete plan for being in control of the skies. Air dominance, it is similar to a combination of piloted and unmanned aircraft, seamlessly connected with cyber and electronic systems, all working together. And with the start of the NGAD project, the competition for a next-level fighter began. The development of this futuristic aircraft began when the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency was looking into ideas for air superiority systems for the U.S. Air Force and Navy in the 2030s. After finishing their Air Dominance Initiative study in March 2014, DARPA's results led the Department of Defense to start the Aerospace Innovation Initiative in 2015. This aimed to make prototype X-planes to show off future fighter plane technology. In 2016, the Air Force added on to DARPA's work with their Air Superiority 2030 plan. But even though they talked about needing a bunch of different systems, they were still mostly focused on one type called the penetrating counter-air. This change meant it wasn't just about one type of aircraft anymore, it was about a whole group of systems working together. Additionally, the USAF plans for its NGAD fighters include developing powerful weapons like hypersonic missiles, advanced sensors, improved avionics, artificial intelligence, networking, battle management systems, and advanced adaptive cycle engines. These engines are being developed under programs like AETP and NGAP and could be ready for combat by 2025. The new FX fighter is expected to become operational in 2030 to 2031. General Mark D. Kelly mentioned that China's plans for their sixth-generation fighters are similar, focusing on artificial intelligence to assist pilots and integrating all air platforms into a single digital system using swarming drones. China has shown early models and designs of their stealth fighters, but detailed information is not expected for a few more years. In 2031, the U.S. Air Force plans to retire the Raptor, a renowned twin-engine stealth fighter. The F-22 has been a key part of U.S. tactical aviation and a benchmark for fifth-generation fighters worldwide. Although highly sought after by U.S. allies, federal law prohibits its export to protect its stealth technology and classified features. This air fighter was designed for regular upgrades, including new weapons like JDAM, SDB, AIM-9X, and AIM-120D missiles. It has also received an improved AN/APG-77V1 radar and updates to its software and avionics, such as the AGCAS in 2016 and the MIDS JTRS in 2021. Some upgrades, including new sensors, antennas, AI arrest, and a stealth-enhancing, chrome-like finish, will continue to receive funding until 2031. In 2022, the F-22 Raptor celebrated 25 years since its first flight in September 1997. Despite discussions about retiring the Raptor, it remains essential until the NGAD is introduced. The F-22 has proven effective, even against spy balloons like the recent Chinese one. Meanwhile, the F-35 Lightning II, designed for different missions, has become very popular. By 2022, Lockheed Martin had assembled 1,000 F-35s. Unlike the Raptor, the F-35 excels in ground-to-air strikes, making it a top export fighter. The F-35's development faced delays due to complex mission system software. It was designed with advanced processors, sensors, and software, creating a digital hub with 8.6 million lines of code in the Block 3F software. Its stealth features include minimized radar cross-section, serrated skin panels, and a durable matte skin. The F-35 has 2 internal weapons bays with various missiles and bombs. About 95% of its replaceable parts are easily accessible, simplifying maintenance. The United States had announced plans to produce about 4,8,600 B611/12s from fiscal 2022 to 2025 and phase out those with much higher yields. While experts estimate the United States now owns 681 B-61s in total, including 230 for non-strategic platforms. In October 2023, the Pentagon also announced that the U.S. would pursue a modern variant of the B-61 nuclear gravity bomb, designated the B611. This variant would be deliverable by modern aircraft like the F-35A, thereby strengthening deterrence against adversaries and assuring allies and partners by providing the President of the United States with additional options against certain harder and larger area military targets. In battles against other airplanes, the F-35 can use different kinds of missiles, like the AIM-9X Sidewinder, AIM-120 AMRAAM, and soon, the AIM-260 JADAM. When it comes to attacking targets on the ground from the air, the F-35 is loaded with powerful weapons. These include the AGM-88 Advanced Anti-Radiation Guided Missile and missiles meant for hitting ships, like the AGM-158 LRM. What's even more impressive is that the F-35 can also carry a variety of bombs like the Joint Direct Attack Munition, laser-guided bombs from the Paveway series, the AGM-154J SAL, the GBU-39 Small Diameter Bomb, the GBU-53B Stormbreaker, and even nuclear bombs. The range and variety of these weapons highlight the F-35 ability to be a state-of-the-art plane that can handle many different roles in a battle. When the F-35 is in competition against other planes in the air, it can choose from a selection of missiles. These include the AIM-9/X Sidewinder, the AIM-120 AMRAAM, and soon the AIM-260 JADAM. These missiles are designed for air-to-air combat, allowing the F-35 to take down enemy aircraft effectively. For attacking targets on the ground from the sky, the F-35 is equipped with a range of potent munitions. Among them is the AGM-88G Advanced Anti-Radiation Guided Missile, which is designed to target and destroy enemy radar installations. Additionally, the F-35 is armed with anti-ship missiles like the AGM-158 LRM, meant for striking naval vessels. What sets the F-35 apart is its capability to carry various types of bombs, showcasing its versatility as a multi-role fighter. The Joint Direct Attack Munition provides precision in striking ground targets, while the Paveway series of laser-guided bombs enhances accuracy. Other bombs in its arsenal include the AGM-154 JSO, the GBU-39 Small Diameter Bomb, the GBU-53B Stormbreaker, and it can even carry nuclear bombs. Even with its big plans for NGAD, the U.S. plans to keep the F-35 Lightning II as the main part of its manned tactical aviation for the Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps for many years. The F-35 might also become the key fighter for NATO and U.S. allies, expected to be in use until 2020. China's competitor to the Raptor, and sometimes the F-35, is the Chengdu J-20, the first multi-role stealth fighter for the Chinese Air Force. The J-20 looks slightly larger than the Raptor and F-30 due to its dual-wing design, which improves aerodynamics. However, the J-20's body is very similar to the Raptor, with 2 engine exhausts and a rounded main body. A key advantage of the F-22 is its ability to maintain super cruise speed without afterburners, a major technical improvement. It's uncertain if the latest WS-15 engine developed by China will give the J-20 the same capability. In March 2022, Chinese media reported tests of the WS-15, which showed improved performance but gave no details. China has built between 150 and over 200 fifth-generation fighters, while the U.S. has 187 Raptors and 450 F-35 Lightning IIs. Both countries also have stealth bombers. The U.S. has the B-2 Spirit and is developing the B-21 Raider. The B-21 will be smaller but more advanced in stealth and range than the B-2. The B-2 initially carried fewer bombs, but was upgraded to carry more. The B-21 will be adaptable to future technologies. To make it better than previously developed bombers, it will have lots of new and high-tech avionics systems all working together. These include things like a special radar that can do many things, a digital navigation system that uses radar and GPS to help the plane fly, and a system that uses space objects to help figure out where it is. It also has a radar that can scan in different directions, a system to jam enemy communications, and cameras and sensors to spot targets. Also for the military, this system makes the bomber really important because it's like a central hub for getting and sharing information, making it better at managing battles. To make sure everything is working okay, there's a system that checks all the avionics all the time. Like the B-2, the B-21 should be able to carry more than 30,000 pounds of weapons, including nuclear bombs like the B-61 and long-range missiles. It can also carry regular bombs and other modern weapons, like missiles that can hit ships from far away. This makes it perfect for fighting ships in places like the South China Sea. Unfortunately for aviation lovers, several information concerning this bomber have been kept secret because it's a special program and also for security purposes. Details regarding how far it goes, what kind of weapons it carries, or how big it is compared to its predecessor have been undisclosed. However, some photos of the aircraft were released in December 2022 during a ceremony at Northrop Grumman's factory in California, and observers with keen eyes were able to spot a thing or two. But these are just speculations. There was talk about using a drone alongside the B-21, but that idea was dropped because the idea was to save money, and that thought would not help with the cause. The Air Force is also planning to get a new fighter jet to protect the new bomber during missions into enemy territory. The Air Force wants to update its bomber fleet and most of its nuclear weapons for operations in the Indo-Pacific, especially concerning China. China's Yan H-20 bomber, on the other hand, has a range of about 5,000 miles, while the B-2 can fly over 6,900 miles. If China extends the H-20's range, it could threaten more regions. Both countries also have combat drones. The US, the MQ-9 Reaper, is more powerful than the Chinese CH-4, which resembles the Reaper but has less payload and range. The Reaper has been used in various combat operations, while the CH-4 has mainly been used for search and rescue. Controlled from ground control stations, the Reaper allows aircrew to monitor and engage targets from afar. In 2006, General T. Michael Mosley, then Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force, highlighted the Reaper's shift from intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance roles to a true hunter-killer platform. As of May 2021, the USAF operated over 300 of MQ-9 Reapers. These drones have been retrofitted with upgrades to enhance performance in high-end combat situations, and all new units will feature these improvements. To prove the fleet is expected to remain in service until 2035. Each unit costs around $31 million as of 2023. Beyond military use, the Reaper serves the United States Customs and Border Protection and several international military forces. The MQ-9A has evolved into the MQ-9B, known as Sky Guardian or Sea Guardian, depending on the mission and payload configurations. This versatility helps to ensure that the Reaper remains a critical asset in various defense and security operations. The MQ-9 Reaper is armed to the teeth with 6 stores pylons capable of carrying a variety of weapons. It can carry up to 1,500 pounds on the inner pylons, 600 pounds on the mid-wing pylons, and 200 pounds on the outer pylons. When fitted with external fuel tanks and munitions, the Reaper can stay airborne for 42 hours. Fully loaded with weapons, it has a 14-hour endurance. Its arsenal includes GBU-12 Paveway, 2 laser-guided bombs, AGM-114 Hellfire 2 missiles, AIM-9 Sidewinders, and GBU-38 JDAMs. Tests are also underway for the AIM-92 Stinger missile. One thing that makes the United States Air Force exceptional is their determination to invest a huge amount of money into bolstering their military sector. This move alone has placed them above other countries' air forces and given them total control of the skies. Does China have military technology advanced enough to rival US fighters? Thanks for watching. While you are still here, Click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.